What's going on, gamers? So I ran across this, which I kind of find funny. WCCF Tech, who I like, posted some stuff. We also have some posts over here by PSU as well, which is the PlayStation universe. It says right here, the next version of Sony's PlayStation 5 Pro powered AI pisser, sorry, PSSR upscaler, will come with some significant improvements according to rumors circulating online. We're gonna get to this though. This is what I find funny. Um, this the only thing that I'm worried about with this, and we're gonna get into this because we're gonna see who's doing it too. I know Sony has Project Amethyst around the way, and they said they're gonna replace it. So why would you make something else in between? It doesn't make any sense to me. So if this is what that is in disguise with a different name, and they're just calling it that, this will make more sense. So let's get into this. And let's talk about AI upscaling, and then let's see if Microsoft will be getting one for their next console, because that's pretty much their last console. Their next PC hybrid aspect that's themed like a console. But going down here, it says PS5 Pro, PlayStation 5 Pro, PSSR 2 will feature higher image quality, wider resolutions, offering and proper support for 4K 120 and 8K 60. We're about to get to the website and read the details. It's right here. What game are you going to launch on PlayStation 5 right now that could even do native 4K 30? This is my problem with this headline. It's like putting this little awe effect in people's mind that will never, ever, ever manifest. Not only are you saying 4K 120 because you're really jumping off the deep end, but then you go to 8K 60 as if somehow an AI upscaler that's limited to consoles is going to make the PlayStation 5 jump a generation ahead in power. You see what I mean with this ridiculous copium projection? Saying significant improvement and proper support for 4K 120. For what? What game is going to be able to do 4K 120 on PlayStation 5 Pro? You moron. And 8K 60. Oh my God, bro. Why are we doing this? How about show some actual improvements where you're like, man, this game could do 1440p 60 on nice settings? Because you ain't even doing that. You know what I mean? So why are we jumping this far ahead? I want to see these results. I will not feel any enthusiasm for this. The next version of the PlayStation 5 Pro AI-powered PSSR upscaler will come with some significant improvements according to rumors circulating online, which is what I'm going to say. In a new video on YouTube, Moore's Law is dead. Oh boy, a pony. Who previously provided correct information regarding the PlayStation 5 Pro and PSSR upscaler before the official announcement revealed that Sony is training a new lightweight, that's right, lightweight, not fully integrated, neural network requiring less frame time to upscale that will offer higher image quality no matter the base resolution a game is upscaled from. Currently, PSSR requires a base resolution of 864p, which is pretty high compared to ultra performance and a video DLSS option, for example, but the next iteration of the upscaler should be able to deliver better image quality upscaling from lower base resolutions. I think that's actually very true because that's something they were complaining about. You saw a lot of shimmering, you saw a lot of issues on PSSR because it really was actually designed to be around 1440p upscaling or closer to 1440p, not even 1080p. So with the update, if you can get that to work, then it's going to be closer to the PC model, even on AMD, because you had a lot of people like, for example, what was it, Alan Wake 2 running internal like 800 and something p on PlayStation 5 Pro. And then when they did the upscale, they saw problems because Sony didn't design that system to be able to have a huge upscaling range. It was kind of a lightweight, limited system. Like Mark Sony said, if you're upscaling around closer to 1440p, you're going to get much better results. Our lightweight model was not designed to upscale from 864p and 1080p and give you the same results. That's why people were seeing returns where it's like, yeah, it's their lightweight model. And if people didn't know, the PlayStation 5 Pro's AI upscaling system is a lightweight model that's designed around a GPU specifically on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Whereas on PC, they have tensor cores. AMD, you have matrix cores. NVIDIA has NPU aspects, neural processing units. And then you have a fully integrated aspect to help with that. So it's fully integrated AI, fully integrated chips on the board with higher watts and systems to run it better, with frame gen and DLSS transformer model fully optimized. I mean, when you just have tensor cores, because they help take off so much load. Whereas like on the PS5 Pro, when you're using PSSR, you're using that GPU resource to do that without other systems taking off weight to allow that to even be able to give you that benefit. That's why when you were seeing pictures, you're like, why is it that it's not giving me way more frames? Because you don't have frame gen with the upscaling and the tensor cores helping. See, you don't have those AI systems helping you get more frames while giving you a better image quality and upscaling from a lower image quality to produce almost a similar result, but with increased frames. Though they're generated, you know what I mean? But still, at the end of the day, it's a video game, so it's not supposed to be real anyways. That's why I try to tell people about this. Like, guys, it's still a video game. If you can get that and it looks like it's pretty much as good, and you're getting 20, you turn on frame gen, you're getting 60, why would you not want that fake 60? Video games are not real to begin with. What you want is good performance with a balance of graphics, because everything looks good nowadays. So I'm just trying to explain to people like the difference in the way things work here. So now going down here, it says, according to the leaker, one of the main reasons Sony is working on this new version of PSSR is because the winds were heavy outside, and they thought that when they took a piss, it wasn't going to fire back on them and melt on their bases too. There was some corrosion in that PSSR. You see, the pissing of the PS5 Pros is definitely corrosive. It's not like a human being pissing. So we got to be careful when the winds are strong. You know, like the Brits say, mate, you're taking a piss off in the wind. Don't piss on yourself again, Sony. The point is to aim out, and it stays out, not all on your base. And I even think the PSSR is capable of producing rainbows. I think the ponies thought that a rainbow was coming their way, and then when they realized the taste of the urine, they just didn't know what to say. But they sucked it up because, you know, Sony, like Dreamcast guy. Okay. Which may not even be marketed as PSSR 2. It doesn't make any sense when you said you're doing Project Amethyst. It's not going to be called PSSR 2. It doesn't make any sense to me. PSSR is specifically a name around the PS5's Pro AI upscaling system, but PS6 is not going to use something like that. It's going to be different. That's why they're working on this right now, because they want to get better at running 4K resolution. Ponies, sit down. 120 frames per second and 8K resolution output at 60. For what, though? I'm trying to figure out what game you're going to be able to do that for. That's not possible, man. Why are we jumping that far ahead? Nobody uses 8K. Nobody's able to do 4K 120. That's tough. What? Now, if you told me that PlayStation 5 could compete with a 5080 right now, even a 5070, I would say they're somewhat believable. But even then, if you're going to have that, you're going to need the speed to run that power. You know what I mean? To run that horsepower, like you're driving a car. I mean, you need the speed to run that power. You don't have enough speed, you can't run that power at that degree, at the highest degree. And you're going to need that higher memory. You're going to need, like they said, 24 gigabytes of memory up in there. You know what I mean? 32 gigabytes of memory up in there. Better heating and cooling, better space for the case. Because this is why I was laughing at those people that are saying 4070, it's up there with 4080. I'm like, look at the requirements of that. Look at what it takes to run that. You would have blew the damn system up with the same power supply. It's not designed around the 4070. No, like that's a whole different thing. You could go look at a 4060 fully integrated. Then you see the 4070 fully integrated. 4080, you start to see the sizes of it. It's like, damn, this thing is bigger than the fucking case of the PlayStation. You know what I mean? It's like, no, bro, your stuff is dumbed down. It's an APU chip. It's not fully integrated. So we have to understand these things. The new version of the upscaler will make it so that games that currently can't push past 70 to 80 frames, like you were ever doing that to begin with, can offer better performance besides the improved image quality. The only way I see this working is if you're trying to do something like Warzone or something, you know what I mean? Or like some cross-gen game where it could possibly be possible. But other than that, that's, well, no. Show me 4K 60 first. Which will see improvements in line with the leap in quality from AMD FSR 2.0 to 3.1. Additionally, the new version of the upscaler will offer wider resolutions from 1440p and 1080p resolutions at locked 120 frames per second. which the current version of upscaler doesn't, as it only is used to offer 4K resolution output, which is upscaled. Better image quality is reportedly also coming to the PS5 Pro games. But why would it not be coming? I think this is pretty obvious over time. Like, this is what I mean. Like, these guys act like some miracle is happening here because Sony's doing it. It's like, bro, this is the way things actually work in life. If I upgrade my PC, it better look better. Okay, so let's get to this fanboy who's annoying.
PlayStation Special Super Resolution. And I think this is interesting because I think this probably has a lot of repercussions on variants of FSR4 that would come to RDNA 3 and probably be ported back and forth to the FSR4 variant for RDNA 4 as.
Let's remember that what FSR4 is designed around is designed around 2 graphics cards, and we know what they are, right? The 2 new models that just came out. You got the XT, right? X, which is probably around the corner as well. So when we're looking at the 9070 XT or whatever, we need to realize that that is fully integrated, and it just came out recently. How could you have a console that came out in 2020 and a Pro that was designed in 2020 all the way up to now, because they were trying to work on both, be able to somehow magically jump and say it's RDNA 4 ready when it ain't even RDNA 4 3 ready organically? That's an RDNA 4 card. The PS5 Pro is RDNA 2. So you have to get a backwards feet. This is why I was telling people the same thing when it comes to the PSSR, is that you're using a feet. It's a lightweight model. So you're grabbing a future and making a lightweight system out of it. You don't have that fully integrated aspect. So you're never going to get PC results. You'll always lose to the PC because you don't have the same power. The watch on PC is fully integrated. The graphics cards, all of them are fully integrated. The AI systems are fully integrated. So even when you're trying to compare it to other cards, it's still behind in certain ways. And it's just a fact.
Well, and so before I get into the leak, let me say one thing clearly, though. I don't know if there's going to be some PSSR 2 announcement. I don't know if Sony will brand it. I don't know if they'll say anything. In fact, to my memory from what I've seen, there's been at least 3 or more versions of PSSR updated behind the scenes. It's not like you see Sony say we're on PSSR version 9, 10, 11, or whatever. Like, that's actually...
No, because they told you they were working on Amethyst and they was going to replace it next year. It doesn't make no sense to do something else and then replace it. Now, if you want to like maximize the updating the current one right now to do that, you say, oh, my fans said, because I could have launched it when it was ready, not give them a broken AI system and then say I'm going to replace it that quick already. What?
What they call it in the background. They're not even calling it 1.1 or something, so I don't know if they will publicly say this is a new version, but I can say what they are working on for it sounds like a pretty substantial update. And so without further ado, let me go into what is in PSSR 2. And I'm just going to read from my notes here. So I apologize if I'm not looking at the camera the whole time.
Heard about that.
So basically, to set the stage, the way PSSR 2 works right now is the minimum internal resolution for 4K PSSR upscaling is 1536 by 864. So that's 864p. And again, I want to be clear. Everything I'm talking about right now, I've had, I guess I wouldn't say who, I've had proof provided to me that I'm not going to show on screen for obvious legal reasons. But what I will say is that's what's going on right now. I've had this verified by multiple people. And so if you think about it, 864p as the base resolution, that then with PSSR is AI upscaled to 4K. Yeah, that's the minimum right now. Now, that's actually a pretty high minimum. That's not what you would want for super high quality upscaling.
But that's not going to work for PlayStation 5 Pro because the system was designed around close to 1440p upscaling to work like efficiently. And these games can't do that.
But for reference, Ultra Performance DLSS goes down to even 720p upscaled to 4K for the 4K version of DLSS. So yeah. Sony limiting it to 864 right now is a bit higher than what NVIDIA has been able to get away with their ultra performance modes. And so what I'm told is that right now, and I've seen documents backing this up, Sony is working on first training a higher image quality neural network that is also more lightweight and therefore requires less frame times to upscale as well. So they want it to be a higher quality.
They learned some methods from AMD, I see.
Quality, but also take less of a hit, whether it's a software hit and how long it takes to process it, something in the PS5 pipeline, or just some CPU limitation, which I believe because they use Zen 2 at not very high clock speeds. A good example of this sort of limitation, by the way, the frame time thing with PSSR, one that I've seen firsthand, is God of War Ragnarok. Now, God of War Ragnarok looks great. The PS5 Pro enhancements look great as well. But when I played it on the PS5 Pro, I just turned off PSSR because, well, it did kind of up your minimums maybe in some crazy scenarios, and it didn't really look sharper. It just looked kind of the same, and my peak frame rates were lower, and so it seemed to cap how high the frame rate could get instead of typically bouncing between like 80 to 90 frames per second on PS5 Pro. It was kind of just capped at like 70 to 75 in the area I mostly tested it in. And that's because there is a hit to frame times running PSSR. Sony wants to work on that.
That actually makes sense.
And then they also want to work on the quality of it. So it doesn't matter which resolution you scale up from, it looks better than it did before. And the main reason I saw for this, and this was noted in documentation, is they want to get better at, first of all, running 4K 120 hertz locked, and also offer 8K 60 output with PSSR supporting it.
For what game?
There are some games where it already works fine at 4K 120. One thing I noted here in my notes is Resident Evil 8. If you turn off ray tracing, it pretty much runs locked at 120 in a lot of areas, if not above 100. So it's not like every game can't pull.
That's what I mean, those type of games. But for newer games, you're out of your mind. Not going to happen. So I think we get the idea here. Sony's learning from their mistakes. They also want to get that ready for GTA so they can have the best version. So we know that's going to happen. Let me know what y'all think about this. Like, comment, subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace out. Ponies, relax. And y'all that are enjoying and being cool on PlayStation that are not ponies, stay being cool. All right, y'all. Peace out.